These drugs have been around for a while. They're small peptides, little proteins that bind to this GLP receptor in your gut that causes insulin to be released from your pancreas and triggers a couple of other hormones that reduce your hunger and appetite. So basically gets you to eat less.
And your brain.
And your brain. And it's effectively a way to make you feel not hungry. And you can then run a calorie deficit. And when you run a calorie deficit, your body starts starving and starts burning other parts of your body besides the glucose it can get out of the stomach, where you would otherwise have food, and ends up in your blood. And it starts generating energy from your stored body fat and your muscle mass. So these have been around for a while. Novo Nordisk is the developer of two of the main drugs. And here's a chart of Novo Nordisk's stock price. You can see that in the last 5 years, their stock has 5x'd. They've basically gone from, call it a $60 billion company to a $350 billion company in 5 years, largely on the back of the promise of this drug. So these drugs have been around for a while, and there's actually one that's been on the market for a long time, but it only causes 5% body mass loss, so 5% weight loss. So people are like, oh, it's not that great. It didn't really get widely adopted. Then this new class, they added a little side chain. They added another little molecule to the peptide. And as a result, it didn't get degraded as fast, and it was far more bioactive in the body and caused a much greater benefit. And so suddenly people on these drugs started to see massive weight loss, massive improvement in diabetes. And metabolic health all moves together. So as you burn body fat, as you have less glucose in your blood, your metabolic condition improves. The problem is when you're starving normally, if you were to just stop eating, you would typically see that your body starts burning, first of all, the glucose, and then it burns off the glycogen in your muscles, which is the next energy store. Once that's gone, your body starts burning fat. And as it's burning more fat, it also says, hey, I need to get these other molecules, which I'm not getting just from the fat. I need muscle. And your body actually starts burning muscle. And that's how your brain gets energy that it needs when you're starving, is actually primarily from the degradation of muscle tissue. So normally, if you're just starving yourself, you'll see a ratio of weight loss where it's about 20% coming from lean muscle mass. In some of the studies that have been done on these GLP-1 agonists, we're seeing up to 40% of the weight loss coming from lean muscle mass being burnt off. So, Jason, I don't know if you've done a DEXA scan, because I think you've said publicly that you've tried it, right? I mean, you should check out what your lean muscle mass is versus your fat composition in your body. I don't know if you have it from before, but I have. And this has been one of the concerns. Obviously, if you're not working out and you're not doing what you need to eat protein and build muscle, you're going to be burning through a lot of that muscle mass. And so that's problem number one that's arisen that people are concerned about. The other one that's really, I don't know if it's concerning or not, but when people go off these drugs, they gain the weight back in a very quick way. And there's two reasons for this. One is if you haven't actually changed your behavior, you haven't changed your exercise patterns, and you suddenly have the appetite suppressing drug taken out of your system, you start eating more food again. And when you've been in a state of starvation, your metabolism, your baseline metabolism goes down. So instead of burning on average 2,000 calories a day, your body's only burning at 1,200 calories a day. So suddenly, if you go back to eating 2,000 calories a day, because you no longer have the appetite suppressor, you're going to reinflate. And so your metabolism goes down, the appetite suppressant goes away, and you gain all the weight back if you haven't changed your behavior otherwise. We're basically creating a new multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical drug system that people are going to have to stay on in order to stay healthy.